Hello to one and to all. So we are obviously going live just to quickly go through what's going to be happening this week. How is it that we're going to be trading this and making sure that we all know exactly on what days we're going to have certain events and how that's going to be affecting the market. So let's go into it straight away. Obviously, first things first, a little bit of housekeeping. Drop us a like on the video, click subscribe, only a couple buttons. If you haven't already, it obviously helps us out a lot and also gives me a really good idea as to like what type of content do you guys want, If you don't like this, then, I mean, don't be too mean, but I give you authorization to go into the comment section, call me a bad word. But anyway, let's go into kind of what we're looking at right now. Obviously, the US is currently open. It's always open. But the trading day is open, I should say. So we are technically in that US session. Not really too much has happened today, apart from a little bit of a pump in the S&P 500. And that's kind of, seen across a lot of the different asset classes. We have seen also crypto pumping, which obviously is very, very good. But everyone at the moment is kind of looking towards the strength of the dollar, the CPI print, and a few other bits. So I'm just going to quickly give you an update. Like I said, so we have, if you haven't followed us on the old tweeters, make sure that you do this. So on Tuesday, we have HBAR mainnet upgrade, CPI data, ETH, GDP for the UK, and also consumer sentiment from the US. So what does this actually mean? I think what it's going to mean is we're going to have some good numbers. So this was what happened last week. What coins were the institutions buying? A lot of Ethereum, obviously because of the anticipated merge, but not so much Bitcoin, kind of like, getting out of Bitcoin, to be fair, which is not great. But this is the overview as to what we had last week. So in traditional markets, let's have a little look at what's going on here. Is this correct, though? It is. So obviously today's Monday. This is what's happening Tuesday. Nothing, really that's going to, push the market in a crazy way. But then we have China, Germany, and the US. Obviously, biggest economy in Asia, second in the world, biggest economy in Europe, and biggest economy in the world. So we are expecting core inflation to rise, and for CPI, consumer price index, we are expecting that to fall, which I think is going to be very good. The reason why we have this difference in core and CPI is that CPI doesn't include, CPI does include food and energy, which are much more volatile. So obviously, because those have been so expensive recently with everything that's happening with the Russian invasion of Ukraine and also with energy prices, that obviously has meant that this, which does include, the food and energy, has been a lot more than core inflation itself. So this is actually bad news. This is bad news seeing this inflation go up because, this is what the Fed reacts to. They don't really react to CPI. They just say, look, we're trying to they focus on core, which is not really good for us, because then this is going to be like, oh, hang on, well, the Fed probably need to do a little bit more tightening, but they're on holiday for 2 months, so they can't do any of this. So no doubt there's going to be a lot of volatility, but, seeing the CPI come down, this is what most people, I guess most investors, and institutions, they do take note of this, but the Fed only focus on core. So just want to make that kind of, should we call it like a differentiation in what's going on. My dog's having a bit of a mad one. So what we're seeing here is, this obviously is going to be very, very busy. So I imagine during the European sessions, maybe even the Asian sessions on that Wednesday morning, there's going to be very, very little volume, if any at all. And then we have PPI month over month. So this is just the producer price inflation, which isn't really, doesn't really do too much to the market. So we can skip over that. And then we're back into Europe. GDP. So this is pretty, quite a lot of news coming out of the UK. But obviously it doesn't really affect the global markets. Might give us some kind of indication to rely on, because obviously it's a fairly decent economy. And so if this gives us some kind of indication prior to having the GDP for the US, that might give us something to go on, but nothing's going to really move the market. This, however, will. Michigan consumer sentiment. This is basically just like, oh, hey guys, here's a survey. What do you think of the market? Or what do you think of the price of living? Do you feel good about how expensive everything is? So this does have a bit of a, an impact on how people feel, but predominantly we have the big news of inflation. But then moving into cryptos. So let's go here. We'll go for the next 7 days. Coin market cal. I actually really like this. We've got all exchanges, all categories, sort by, let's just go date, Let's have a little look. Oh, actually, I probably want to do top 100 coins, don't I? I've ruined that one. So let's go top 100 coins. Just only the important ones, And here we go. So, news, but not really news. HBAR mainnet upgrade. This is good news. So I'm expecting to see a bit of, price volatility off the back of this here. And then we have the Goerli merge coming up. This is the last public testnet to run through the merge transition and should do so on August 11th. This is not it's not a set date from Ethereum. Hey, go away, boy. Go on. Hey. And then, sorry, I might show you my dog. Maybe not now. So this is going to be happening on 11th. Which is why I think we have seen a lot of volume moving in, because we are getting close, and this is going to, providing all of these final tests, the test nets, and whatever's going on. If this works, the merge is going to work. So that's when, that's where so much money is kind of waiting. If it goes well, then we'll get involved. But if not, I guess we just won't. So that's what we're kind of seeing here. And then also coming up next week, we do have a network upgrade for Monero. But I don't know, Monero's just doesn't really do it for me, to be fair. I don't know about you. If you like Monero, I think it will have a place in the future, given that it's so private and everything like this. But yeah, just not really so much. So anyway, the overall kind of viewpoint of this week is low inflation. This pumps everybody, so everyone gets excited. That's why we're seeing tech stocks jump. This is why we're seeing crypto jump as well, which is very, very good. And everyone's now thinking, well, look, if inflation kind of continues to go down, then let's have a look at what we're seeing here. So I'll just refresh this again. Let's have a get the right data. So 2.5, that's the upper bound, guys, heads up, upper bound. So that's this number here. So this is a 50 basis point hike, 45% chance of it. The most likely scenario is going to be a 75 basis point hike. Now, just bear in mind that last week, having a 75 basis point hike was kind of not really, no one really thought about it. But then we had the jobs report on Friday. Jobs report, that put everything down the toilet, to be fair. They were like, okay, we have tons of jobs. Everyone has jobs. Economy's growing. It's not getting smaller. And so obviously the Fed are like, right, okay, well, we're going to have to do something about that. We're going to take all your jobs away. It's not exactly how that one goes, but then we look at a higher rate hike, making it more severe, contracting the economy, and therefore making inflation go away. So we are looking at that. The most likely scenario as to where we're going to end this year of rate hikes is around 3.75 to 3.75. That's most likely at the moment. I think, to be honest, it's not a bad thing to aim for. I am curious about how the next inflation print how that materializes. This current inflation print that we're all hoping for, i.e. here, I think it probably will. I mean, I think as long as we're lower than 9, it will still pump the market, which is very, very good. And also the Fed can't step in and do anything crazy because they're away. They don't make their next decision for another 6 weeks. So, we then have another, I think, and this is where it is, when we have the next CPI print, that's where everyone's going to be like, right, okay, now we know that the Fed are going to be reacting to this most recent CPI. So that's what's going to have a lot of volatility in the market, I would say, more so than this here. But anyway, everything's looking quite good. We're looking quite pumpy. Got a nice little pump on. All been to the gym. The markets are absolutely loving it. And obviously, we can just have a quick look on Trading View and then peruse the old little Bitcoin. BTC Ooster. Oh no. Here we are. Let's go. Launch chart. Hit me. Quite a lot of the old quite a lot of indicators up here. This obviously must have been AJ from our previous lives. So, and some fantastic lines that really make sense. But overall, we are kind of, as you can see, from the what seems to be the low, we actually kind of hit that low. Very much what it looks like is that we did find that low. Let me just bring these down a little bit. Dash. And we are now kind of in that upward trend, as you can see, moving along, from here in that up with a little bit of upward momentum, to be fair. So, I feel good. Obviously, AJ goes through the technical analysis every day. He's talking about these, about the channel that we're in currently, etc. So I don't know. The question then is, how long can we sustain it? There's some very critical levels. Make sure you tune in tomorrow just to kind of get an understanding as to the key levels that we are at. But from me, just wanted to cover off everything that you should expect this week that's going to be causing volatility. And like I said, follow us on Twitter, and then you'll be, kind of in the game. That's where we want to be. And obviously, we can update you every single day. And probably, a lot more than what we can do here. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Trade safe, always use protection, and I will see you tomorrow.